That was not right. Hold on. Oops. Well, there we go.
Baby girl love my bop and unlike me too. No roof on my top and my babe see-through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, they ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you? Baby girl love my bop and unlike me too. No roof on my top and my babe see-through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, they ain't gon' feed you.
We are about to head to the gym, but first I have a box I've been sitting on waiting to open, but I wanted to do it in a video here, and I didn't have the opportunity because we had so much open content going on, but now the open is over, and I want to talk a little bit about also why I am so happy the open is over. But first, this box, it's a pair of RADs. If you are new here, then you might not know, but I love my RAD trainers. I've used so many trainers. I've been doing CrossFit for, it'll be 10 years in May, June time. And I've used, the Nanos, the Metcons. I've used even Vans at one point. I've used a lot of different CrossFit shoes, trainers, not CrossFit shoes. I've been working out a long time and wearing a lot of different shoes, and RADs so far have been my favorite. This is like my 4th pair, I think. Yeah. There is one thing I dislike about them, and that is that I'm almost never able to get the shoe that I want to get. I'm always stuck settling for a colorway that is not the one I wanted. And again, that is the case because they make their shoes in such small batches and never restock. I guess that allows us to have cool new things that come out all the time, but it sucks if you have a common shoe size because you just never get the one you want. Anyway, we can see the one I did get, and I'll show you what my last pair looks like. I have a bad habit of wearing shoes until they literally fall apart. That was not right. Hold on. Oops. Well, there we go. Got the box opened. RAD. And it's purple. It matches my shirt. And I think it matches the shoes. Let me see when I made my last video talking about my RAD shoes, because that is the last time I got a pair of CrossFit sneakers. Okay, I published my last video on RAD sneakers on April 23rd, 2023. So that would be more than 11 months ago, and that is the last time I got new shoes. So I was in need of these, and my other ones are a little bit beat up. So this is the shoe I ended up getting. It is the black with, I guess it's the blue. It's blue, more blue than purple. My shirt's purple. So it is definitely like a royal blue. You can tell the difference between the blue and the purple. I think I thought it was a little bit more purple when I saw it online, but it appears that it is more of a royal blue. And I think that's what it said, but I just think the picture looked a little bit more purple than it did blue. This feels like a nice suede, this upper here, really soft, sort of like the one I had before though, I was just looking at it. And they're the same, they look the same as all the RAD ones that I've had, which I'm happy to see because the company is now more than 2 years old. And sometimes when companies are doing well, they start to cut corners to make more money. And this shoe looks very much like the shoes that I've got in the past and feels very much like the shoe. I'll put it on, we'll get to the gym, and we'll see the difference. But first, let me grab my old pair of RADs that are a little bit beat up. You can see a little dirty, discolored. And this happened to my RADs this time. This is one of the shoelace holders, I believe. I mean, I don't know, there's probably a real name for it, but it's where the shoelace goes through. It pulled totally out. I'm not sure if this happened because of rope climbs. This is the foot that goes under the rope. So it would be the shoe that's getting more abrasion from the rope. Or if it's just because I tie my shoes so tightly. I like my shoes to fit tight. I know a lot of people like their feet to have more room. I'm not one of those people. I like to feel like my shoe is like nearly a part of my foot, just sucked in there. So I pull them tight. That may be the reason this happened, but that is really my biggest complaint and only complaint about the 11 months I wore this shoe primarily. I had a second RAD pair of shoes that I was alternating in. I wore them in a mosh pit and they got very dirty and beat up, and I ended up getting rid of them when I moved to my new apartment because I just don't want to take stuff I didn't need. But these I've worn very consistently for 11 months, and they've seen better days, and they're being traded out for these today. So excited to wear my new shoes, excited to get to the gym, and excited to get back into normal training. CrossFit Open is great. It's a great time to challenge yourself and do new things, and just to see where you've grown over the last year. But it really takes you out of your training. I was resting days that I don't usually rest because I had to or wanted to so I could perform the best I could in the open. And it just gets you out of your rhythm. 3 weeks, nearly a month of training is just kind of, not that you have to be training for anything specifically, but just being in a rhythm, doing your routine. And the open sort of takes you out of that. And I will always advocate doing the open. It's, like I said, 3 weeks, less than a month of your time. And it really is a good way to measure where you've come over the last year or how you've changed, better, worse, whatever. It's just good feedback to get. But I'm always excited when it is over so that I can get back into more of my normal routine, normal training, and just feeling consistent and being able to work on things as opposed to just trying to recover for the next open workout. I did qualify for quarterfinals. I believe. I haven't gotten an email about that yet, but I believe I have qualified for quarterfinals. I finished in the 90th percentile, which should be in a pretty safe position to qualify with the top 25% this year. And I plan to do it, but I'm not going to peak for it in the same way I try to rest and recover for the open. The difference just is ideally I like to qualify for quarterfinals. How I do in quarterfinals, it doesn't matter as much to me as just getting to be there and getting to participate. So that's happening. I'm getting to do that. And grateful for however much I can do of the workouts, but we're not redoing them, I don't think, and we're not really going to be adjusting much other than just doing the workouts over that weekend. So it's nice because that's not as big of a thing that takes you out of your training. It's not weeks like the open. It's just one long weekend, and maybe I'll get my butt kicked. Maybe I won't even be able to start some of the workouts again, and then, you're actually not that worse for wear at the end of it. But that's a few weeks off. Today we're doing regular training, so let's head to the gym, let's break in these shoes and see what we're doing today. Carson, wanna come say hi to the camera? Come say hi. Oh, you wanna come over here? Oh, come here. Oh. Here we are in another voiceover, and these are basically just little podcasts where I tell you about the workout and talk about some other CrossFit things. So we will start talking about this workout that you're watching right here. I am on the rower. I'm not this person closest to the screen, just to clear that up. I am in all black, and I have my new RAD shoes on. But we'll get to those once we discuss the workout, which is about to pop up on your screen. So this was for time, had a 22-minute time cap, 2,000 meter row, 300 crossover singles, and 100 GHD sit-ups. As you'll see, we have a lot of people doing a lot of different things, or four. 4 is not a lot, but we've got 4 people all at different parts of the workout right now. And that is because it was able to be broken up as you see fit. So we'll go into how I'm breaking it up, but I will say that I think all of us had totally different strategies. The meters are the same for both women and men, so it does impact who finishes first. All of the men finished first, and then the women finished after. But it was a fun workout, a good sweat, a good way to start this session, because there's a bunch of stuff in this session. This video's kind of long, but this was just the beginning part. I believe this is from Jump Ship Training, who I've spoken about before. That's what I believe most of our programming is from. I do know that the coach at our gym, the owner, he does change things up a little bit from their programming sometimes, but this I think was from their competitors' program and exactly as it was written. So this is the workout. It is a long one, 22 minutes for a time cap. How I broke it up. I broke it up into 5 rounds. The 5 rounds were of a 400-meter row, 60 crossovers, and 20 GHD sit-ups. I know someone else did 10 rounds. I felt like 10 rounds was going to be a little bit too much, a little bit too many transitions, and that was going to slow things down. So I felt 5 kept things short enough that you're not really doing anything forever, but kept it long enough that you're not transitioning constantly. It doesn't just become about the transitions. So working on those crossovers now. This was not my best set of crossovers, but crossovers got really good midway through this workout. I believe the last 2 rounds, I did the 60s unbroken, which pretty thrilled about that compared to when they first popped up in quarterfinals a few years ago. Or maybe it was just last year. When they first popped up in quarterfinals, it was like doing 1 or 2 reps. Now, I did 60 at one point. Heading over to the GHD now, doing 20 of those. Definitely made my core sore. Haven't been doing a ton of GHD sit-ups, but I actually really enjoy doing them when I get to. So I just mentioned quarterfinals, and that makes me think about something else that just popped up today, the day I'm recording this. Dave Castro had an affiliate town hall where he talked about some of the quarterfinals planning. So I saw this on Barbell Spin. If you want more information, head over to that website. Brian Spin does a great job of keeping a lot of the latest CrossFit information there and updating it very quickly. So if you're curious to read more, you can go check that out. But what Dave Castro said in this affiliate town hall is that there will be 4 workouts in quarterfinals. So in the past, we've had 5 mostly. That is a little bit less, having 4. Does that mean you only have 4 scored events? Not necessarily. It just means there's 4 actual workouts. There could be another scored event within them. Like there could be a row like I'm doing right now in the workout to start a workout, and that row is 4 time then into the rest of the stuff. That would be an example of that. Or there could be a lift in the middle or at the end or at some point of a workout, and that's for weight. So there definitely can be ways that we have multiple scored events in only 4 workouts. So that's a possibility. It might not just be 4 scores. People that are concerned 4 workouts is not enough. I mean, we had the Open, which had 3 other workouts in it. So now we're up to 7 really to qualify people to semifinals. And we used to qualify people to semifinals just through the Open, which was 5 weeks, so 5 scored events. But to me, it seems like if they're the right 4 workouts, you can qualify people to semifinals with the right 4 workouts. We'll have to see those workouts and see what they're like to get a better idea of it. But it could be a good test. We need to see the full test before we make true assessments. But 4 is not strikingly limited to me. But some other interesting things that popped up in this affiliate town hall about quarterfinals. We have top 25% going now, so that's a lot of people. I think it's awesome to allow more people into it. I know in a previous video I said there's some disappointing parts of going from 10% to 25% because it does sort of water it down, I think was the phrasing that I used. It's not that I don't think it's awesome to have more people in it. I truly do. And I think it's great to make it more obtainable for a lot of people. But I do know a lot of people that were training to get to that top 10%. And for those people to go from working hard all year to really reach that top 10% and have it be a much lower barrier all of a sudden, it just sort of takes away, I think, for some of those people, what they were working for maybe the last 3 years to qualify finally for quarterfinals. And to qualify in this way, it just feels a little bit different than in the past. That's all I meant, but I think expanding it and having more people get the opportunity, I think that's awesome. And I'm glad to see more people getting to do it. And that leads into the next part about what Dave Castro talked about, and that is that the floor plans will be released at the same time as the workout, meaning those floor plans will likely be a lot less complex. And it's going to come with an affiliate lesson plan to help affiliates run the program, the quarterfinals workouts, in their regular class programming. So that gives us an idea that the workouts are something that can be done in a class setting. So take from that what you will. I imagine it does mean they're somewhat more accessible. Probably won't have rope climbs. There's a chance we could, but a lot of gyms don't have enough ropes for each person to have their own rope in class. And if you're running a whole class through this, you know, you might want to have ropes for everyone, theoretically. So that may be less likely to appear in quarterfinals this year, although we've seen it, and I'm pretty sure every quarterfinals in the past. It's not a guarantee. You can definitely say that most classes won't have exclusively quarterfinals athletes, and that the athletes that aren't quarterfinals athletes could always sub out those movements like rope climbs. Another one would be GHD sit-ups. This gym that I'm at now, Pacific Strength CrossFit, which I've been loving, we're doing GHDs in this workout, and there's only 2 of them at this gym. So the men are sharing one GHD, and me and the other woman here are sharing the other one. Works well in this situation where we're being able to do the movements in whatever order we want. But for a quarterfinals workout where you have to do it in specific order would be a little bit more difficult. Although maybe there'd be a quarterfinals workout where you can break it up as you want. There was once an open workout with ring muscle ups in it that allowed you to do that as well. So maybe that's a thought that I just had literally while talking this out with all of you lovely people. So that's some interesting things, some interesting news that came out today, and it just kind of popped into my head while we were doing this workout and talking about some movements that we might see in quarterfinals, like crossovers and like GHD sit-ups. We could also possibly see neither of those, but both of them were in last year's quarterfinals. So back to this workout, I believe I am in the 3rd round of it right now on the rower and finishing up there on the rower. I am using my RAD shoes, my new pair, for the first time in this workout. I literally put them on and went straight to the gym. What I will say about breaking in my RADs and what I've noticed if you are interested in purchasing these shoes, I find they break in pretty quickly. But I will definitely say when I'm first wearing them and walking to the gym, first couple of, half hour to hour of having them on my feet, they do feel like new shoes. But this was a pretty, intense movement workout. You can see me doing my crossovers right now, which, let me tell you, they've really improved over the last couple of months. I mean, look at this set here. I'm pretty impressed with myself. I hate to say it. I don't hate to say it. I love to say it. Just sounds a little bit self-serving, but I am pretty impressed. A little bit bouncing around there, but I kept it going for all 60 of those. Proud of me. And we've got to celebrate the wins and the losses. We'll talk about that later in this video because there is definitely some losses in this training session. Some fails. Fails are great too. But back to my RAD shoes. I feel that the first little bit of wearing them, you can definitely feel they're a little bit stiff. They're a new shoe. You got to break it in, just like any new shoes you would have from any company, really. I was wearing the same pair for about 11 months, and 11 months is a long time. And those shoes were well worn and broken in to the point they were a little bit broken. These are not, and were not when I started this workout, and they felt a little bit new. But through all of this jumping that I did and walking to the gym and all of that stuff, I definitely felt by the end of this session that these shoes felt pretty comfortable. And I've been wearing them for a couple days now when I'm recording this. And I wore them this morning to the gym. Don't even notice that they're new shoes anymore. And it's only been about 3 or 4 days. They don't even feel new. They feel new in the sense that they feel that like they're, fresh in the sense they're not beat up, but they don't feel new in the sense that I feel like I'm breaking them in still. So The RAD shoes, I've just been super impressed by them. The $150 price tag, a little bit steep, but I do think it's worth it. I mean, if I'm going to be able to wear them for a year and not want to wear any other shoes, that's a pretty significant endorsement. And I do not get paid anything to say this or leave these reviews. Because I will also say, I mean, it is steep and they don't go on sale. So you can't really get a deal on them. And that is unfortunate if you're somebody who is on a budget and can't fit this into it. Because they are really great shoes. And there are other shoes like the Nanos, like the Metcons that do go on sale and might be a better bang for your buck if that's something that's a limiting factor for you. If it's not, if you just want a really good shoe, I really like the RADs and have had no desire really to try any other shoes in the 2 years that I've been wearing these shoes almost. I've thought about trying Strike Movement just to give them a try, and I've heard some good things, and maybe I will do that and make a video on that. But I just love my RAD so much. Who wants to wear shoes that you don't like? So I'm like, do I really want to invest in another pair of shoes when I found one that really works for my foot? And I also think that's a thing too. And the woman in front of this video too also has another pair of RADs on as well. There's a bunch of people at this gym who have seemed to have jumped on the RAD movement. But I'm in the 4th round, did mess up my crossovers there, but still doing some pretty big sets. Still pretty impressed with this. For crossovers, what I found really helps me is keep the arms close to your body. Like when you cross over, make sure you're keeping it in tight so that you're not shortening the rope and making yourself more likely to trip on the shorter rope. But back to the RADs, back to my non-paid for endorsement of these shoes. I've worn them to cover events when I went to the CrossFit Games and stuff like that. And I also feel really comfortable in them there. We got free Nobles when I used to be a volunteer at the games. And by the end of the day, my feet hurt so bad. And they wanted us to wear the Nobles because they gave them to us and they were all black and they wanted all the volunteers to wear black. But they weren't super comfortable. These RADs, so much more comfortable. So only complaints about RADs really are, the biggest complaints, price point, because they don't go on sale, and that's a limiter for a lot of people. And just, you can't get the ones you want, depending on your shoe size. That is definitely depending on your shoe size. Some sizes tend to be available. I wear a women's 7, and I have no luck. I have to be on there like the second they get released. And in the past, my old work schedule, I just wasn't awake as early as they were released because I worked nights. But now maybe I can get a pair if I give it a try to get one right at the time they're released. Last round here, finishing up this workout, the beginning of our day. This is the longest part of the video, but there was definitely a lot more stuff that we did. It's just cut into a little bit of a shorter sequence for all of you. Finishing up my final row here. This is definitely a pacing workout. You want to finish in that 22 minutes if you can. And you just got to kind of keep the gas down, but don't burn yourself out in that first, second, or third round, depending on how you're breaking this up. And I think it would be a lot harder to finish if you went straight through. 2,000 meter row, 300 crossovers, 100 GHGs. I just think not breaking it up is going to result in you resting and going slower more throughout the workout. I didn't give it a try that way. If you do, you can let me know in the comments if it worked better for you. I don't think it will. The first man, he is the owner of the gym. His name is James. He's already finished. Second person to finish is going to be Zach, and then it'll be the ladies. But we are chipping away at this workout, different methods, but all of us finished way under the time cap. So There are a bunch of ways to break this up, but I like my 5 rounds. I like things to be sort of consistent. I know some other people had some systems of doing it that weren't really like rounds. They were more like X number of movements and stuff, and they didn't go in order. I liked it being like rounds with everything the same order every time. It's just what works best for my brain. But that's all very person specific. But you saw my recommended rounds, 5 rounds. 10 is another really simple way to break it up if you're looking for simple methods. And then I guess straight through is a simple method, but like I said, wouldn't recommend it. The coaches didn't recommend it, but feeling pretty good with how my crossovers are looking. I know I've said that, but we're back on them and they look good. The shoes felt good here, bouncing and finishing up, running to that GHD, hopping on there. I'm like, this is it. Just got to finish these last 20 reps, and then I get to rest. So just knocking away on this GHD. If you don't like GHD, it might not be a great place to finish the workouts. That might also be a thing to think about as well. When I broke it up in the same order it was initially written. But you can start with the GHD. You can start with the crossovers. You don't have to do any of this in any particular order. It's just finishing those movements and those reps in the time cap in any order that you'd like. So definitely play around with this one if you want to give it a try. I finished around 18:30. Gonna come over here and plop on the floor for a second before we get into the next stuff, because there is more, and that is some deadlifts from a deficit. I think it was supposed to be like 1 inch. That's definitely higher than an inch, but did it on that 35-pound plate. It was 8 sets of 5 reps, and I built throughout the reps to just a heavy-ish for the day. Definitely not a 5-rep max, but I just wanted a solid effort after all the effort you just saw me put into that other thing. We often lift after in this jump ship training method, and I kind of like it. This is my heaviest set here. I like it because I feel very warm going into it, and it's just interesting doing lifts under fatigue and having to focus on that aspect of it. But you're definitely warm, and I like it. I feel like it's a good way, a Metcon, to go into a lift, and it kind of helps me turn my brain off. Here I am dying after the workout, not exactly sure what this is. You can see me panting that those deadlifts. I think it's like 195, but it took it out of me there for a second. So this was for quality, and it was 5 rounds of 2 minutes on, 1 minute off of 2 hang snatches, and then a 10-meter handstand walk, but you added each round. You just kept going for the 2 minutes, adding 2 snatches, so the next one would be 4 snatches, and a 20-meter handstand walk. As you can see here also, my handstands suck. Well, they don't suck. That's okay. They're just not great. And there's going to be a lot of failing. And I wanted to keep that in here because although that was okay, failing is part of it. And I think it's such a privilege to fail. And I think this has to be a video and find a training session that this makes sense to talk about. But failing is just such a fantastic opportunity. Here it is. That was kind of a fail. It's just an opportunity to get better. And I feel like a lot of people are hesitant to fail, nervous to fail, don't feel good failing, and I get that. But also, this is 75 pounds on the bar, by the way, just throwing that out there. But you could use different weights. There were some options. But failing is just such an opportunity to get better and such an opportunity to just see where your limits are. And it's I said this before, but it's such a privilege to get to fail. The fact that I'm a 30-year-old adult walking around on my hands, even if I fall down, that's an awesome thing that I am capable of doing. And I am capable of failing at it. And when you're failing, you open up all these opportunities to do better. And that's also a pretty awesome thing. And I feel like I love to fail. We'll get into that in another video. But if you made it here, hope you enjoyed my little rant on how failing is an opportunity to get better and an opportunity to improve. So, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you made it this far in the video, because it's far. Okay, I am back home with Carson after that workout. I put chapstick on, and he likes chapstick quite a bit. He has actually eaten chapstick before, so I have to make sure to keep it high up so he can't get it when I'm at home. But anyway, I look super messy. That was a long workout. I haven't trained like that much in a long time. It felt good. Felt good to get back at it. It's kind of what I was talking about at the beginning of this video, like why I'm glad the Open is over so I can get back into doing this kind of training, really kicking my butt. It was fun to be training with some new people now that I'm at a new gym, Pacific Strength CrossFit, and getting into a new rhythm in my new apartment, my new little life, my new job. Same Carson though. Same Carson, but lots of other new things, which I'm sure I will talk about more in a future video. Maybe I'll take you on a day of working out and working my job. I'll probably try to do that soon. So subscribe if you want to see that. Like if you had a good time. Leave a comment if you have something to say. If you want to try the workouts, they were a lot of fun. I will put them in the description for you so you can do those if you want to, and let me know how they go. I appreciate you all for watching. The shoes held up. The shoes felt pretty good. I didn't really even notice they were new shoes after I got into the workout. Walking to the gym, they felt a little bit new. After that, felt pretty good. So I'll see you in the next one. Appreciate you for watching. Bye. You bringing me a sock? Okay.